Now look at some of tomorrow morning's papers and a fair degree of unanimity as to the main issues there. The Times, as day of panic as bankers attack the dollar, majority of miners are now working. Financial Times, the NUM leadership faces options on ending strike at its executive meeting tomorrow. The dollar falls in chaotic trading, the lead story. Scargill's day of reckoning is the Daily Mail version of the miners' story. Banks send the pound racing. On the financial front, the Morning Star, however, reports that Labour and TUC are driving with a to raise cash for the coalfields and for the miners' strike, even at this stage. Europe's revenge on the dollar is their version of the financial story. The Sun features as its lead that confrontation between the Prime Minister and Bob Geldof in London, which we showed a bit of earlier, and also reports Doctor Who acts in what the Sun claims is a plot by the BBC. Well, you can catch up on the latest on all these and other stories too in Breakfast Time, which is on BBC1 tomorrow morning from 10 to 7. On Newsnight, we'll be back again tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. Please join us again then. Till then, from Stephen, me and all of us, a very good night to you.
On BBC One shortly, there's more offbeat humour with another sitting of New York's Night Court. That's except for viewers in Scotland. On BBC2 now, here's Bill Giles with the weather outlook.
Good evening to you. Well, although the weather is going to change in a couple of days' time, the main problem once again tonight is going to be fog. We've kept fog near the south coast, near parts of the east coast of England all day. And I think as we go through tonight, the fog is going to get quite thick in many central and southern parts particularly. There could be some dense patches around visibility less than 50 yards first thing tomorrow morning, so some pretty tricky driving conditions. And even further north, I think it could turn out to be fairly misty. There's been some cloud around, which has given the odd spot or two of rain, and that's drifting very slowly northwards, but really not amounting to a great deal. Now, as far as the temperatures are concerned tonight, very much the same as last night, quite mild on the western side. The lowest temperatures will be in the east, where they could just dip down around the freezing mark for a time around dawn. I think the lowest temperature probably up in northeastern parts of Scotland once more. Well, let's have a wider view and look at the satellite picture, what it shows out in the Atlantic. It shows, in fact, a great mass of cloud just out to the west of us, and that's the stuff that's going to herald the change, as well as another great mass of cloud beginning to develop further west than that. Well, this one has a cold front associated with it, as you can see there. It's given a good deal of strong winds circulating around it, some cold northerly winds tucking down behind, and quite mild southerly winds up ahead of it. And that's going to start to push its way in towards us. In the meantime, we've still got high pressure close by us, and that's why, in fact, you're getting some interference, co-channel interference on your television screens down in southern parts of the country particularly. But as this cold front edges its way in, that'll be disappearing. So I think tomorrow, probably no problem. Now, this cold front has got some rain associated with it, and a fair amount of it, and I can show you how that's going to move over the next 24 hours or so. And you can see it working its way in from the Atlantic by midday tomorrow, getting into some western parts of Ireland there, and then by midnight tomorrow night coming in across Ireland and into western parts of England, Wales and Scotland, with the main thrust of the rain, I think, coming up at us from the southwest. Now, that rain is associated with this low pressure area and this little trough in the isobars. This is basically the cold front, which is bringing the cloud and rain in. And if we follow that on over the next day or two, let's see what happens. This is the position of the cold front on Friday, lunchtime on Friday. There's the cold front in there. That's the area of cloud and rain. And if we move forward onto Saturday lunchtime, you can see the cold front getting somewhere up around the border counties. So bringing an area of cloud and rain in across the country. I think even by this time, up over the Scottish, excuse me, up over the Scottish mountains, there could even be a little bit of snow mixed in it. Now, by this time, we will have lost these southerly winds, quite strong easterlies up in the north, turning southwesterly and then eventually northwesterly down in the south. And as this front comes in, it'll be bringing some more cloud and rain, and even down in the south, I think there could be a bit of sleet and snow mixed in it, probably on hills above about 1,000 feet or so. But let's come back in time now and see what's going to happen to the rain in more detail over the country. This is 6 o'clock tomorrow. I think that'll be a little bit further north than that, with the main range still out to the west. By midday, it will be coming in across Ireland, and then by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, coming into some western parts of the country. Put some detail on that. Very misty, murky start to the day with some fog patches, but they will be clearing away, brightening up particularly in the western side with some sunshine, but in the afternoon some sunshine coming out on the eastern side of the country too, but staying pretty misty near some of these eastern and southeastern coasts as well. And then by tomorrow evening, rain coming in across Northern Ireland and into western Wales and southwestern parts of England. Temperatures much the same as they have been today, pretty mild on the western side, but there you'll find the winds freshening up quite a lot, some quite strong winds there eventually. Temperatures in the foggy areas in the east only getting up to about 6 Celsius, that's 43 Fahrenheit. Well, that's it from me. Bye-bye for now.
A new series, Hours to Keep, begins tomorrow night at 7:50, which focuses on workaday buildings of historic interest and the relatively ordinary people into whose care they've passed. In the first programme, Selling Shilston, a widow discovers things about her family farmhouse when she's obliged for economic reasons to put her Dartmoor home up for auction. At 8:30, except in Scotland, Out of Court reports from Holland on the heroin problem in Britain and abroad. In Yes Minister at 9, Jim Hacker believes that one way of making his mark would be to increase the number of women in the top echelons of the civil service, but Sir Humphrey has his own opinions. Then at 9:30, 40 Minutes visits Barnsley in South Yorkshire to investigate the controversial compulsory order placed on the home of two brothers. There's another case from the Rockford Files at 10:10, followed by Newsnight at 11. Well, the time is 26 minutes to midnight. If you're leaving us now, on behalf of all of us here on BBC2, this is Roger Maud wishing you a very good night as I hand you over to Peter Brook in the Open University studio.
Yes, this is the Open University. Good evening. We begin our transmission with the first programme in the Introductory Electronics course. It looks at the basic ideas underlying electronic design and electronic signals.